The final here from Columbus in the shoe. Ohio State 20, Penn State 12. If you're a fan of Big Ten style of football, if you're a fan of the line of scrimmage being moved and kind of having a back and forth in that sense, this was the game for you. The style of game matched the weather. It was downhill, it was aggressive, it was physical, it was won in the trenches. I guess ultimately the game-winning play was won on the outside. Even so, though, Ohio State, this was a statement kind of game in a lot of ways. We'll talk about it right now. First things first, though, make sure you subscribe right here to the On3 YouTube channel, college football every single day. We are recapping everything that went on in the college football Saturday that was tomorrow morning right here on this channel in the Sunday Sprint. Tons of content for you. Make sure you're dialed in. Make sure you're also following me on Twitter and on Instagram at JDPakel. We said it going into this game. For this game for Ohio State, it felt like an opportunity to kind of write their own script. We talk about the 2022 teams and 2021 teams here at Ohio State. Those were teams that were offensive driven. Those were teams that were going to throw the ball around the yard. They'll score right around 40 a game, and that's how they're going to make their money. That wasn't the way that it went today for Ohio State. It was back and forth. Nobody could really get any rhythm offensively. Cal McCord did a good job, but again, the offense scored 20 points. It wasn't like they were just throwing the ball around the yard like you'd seen C.J. Stroud do previously in Columbus. So what do? You got to win up front. Defensively, that's first and foremost. The second part of this is there's a time to play and there's a time to win. And when it's time to win, what do? You go to your best players. And credit the Ohio State offensive coaching staff, that's exactly what they did. Hey, we can't find a way to really get too much going offensively. We can't find a rhythm. Go to Marvin Harrison Jr. And Penn State, to their credit, they were content just to play man coverage and sort of take their lumps to go back and forth. And they did a good job for the majority of the game. But again, when it was time to win the football game, Marvin Harrison Jr., they drop a little play for him going across the middle, create some space for him, let him work. He did what he does, which is be special, be one of the best players, if not the best player in college football, gets in the end zone to put pressure back on the Penn State offense. And that wasn't going to happen because of the way that the Ohio State defense played the majority of the day. Like, credit Jim Knowles. Credit that defensive line and how much was said about them even after the Notre Dame game. Like, they were tougher, I think, than they were previously this season. But even in that game, they allowed almost 200 yards rushing. In this game, they held Penn State to less than 100 yards. And that ultimately was the difference maker. You put the game back on Drew Aller. Drew Aller, I think, is going to be really good at Penn State for a long time. But in this spot, for the first-year starting quarterback, just wasn't able to get it done. So credit Jim Knowles being aggressive. Credit Ohio State defensively, controlling the line of scrimmage all day long and putting the game on 15 and making him make quick decisions with how much they brought pressure and brought exotic looks. Overall, Ohio State today, I think, made a statement in what they're going to be in 2023. This is a team that I think, like we said at the top of this segment, is writing their own script. And today was a really pivotal chapter in them defining hey, yes, we're going to be able to eventually get the ball to guys like Marvin Harrison Jr., like Emeka Egbuka when he is back healthy. But if we can't play that style, if we got to go rock fight style with it, if we got to score 20 points to win the football game and we got to hold it down defensively, we can do that. Because that's a good Penn State football team they played against today. And so I think the Ohio State trenches, and I think Kyle McCord having composure when it mattered most, deserves a ton of credit. So for Ohio State now, same song, second verse. You're looking at that Michigan game and saying that's probably going to be the one, if everything turns out how you expect it to, if you're an Ohio State fan, to be the one to get you back to the Big Ten title game, back to the college football playoff. And we'll see, man, but this was a huge, huge win for Ohio State. Hey, hand up, I picked Penn State. For the reasons why Ohio State won the football game is why I picked Penn State, because I didn't know if Ohio State would have it on the line of scrimmage. They proved emphatically, left no doubt, they can be that bully on the block, and they were that today. So, for all of us here at On3, make sure you're subscribed. A ton of content coming tomorrow morning. Again, Ohio State victorious in a raucous atmosphere here in Columbus. Final score, 20-12. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.